You can't scale something that doesn't work.
Today's topic is the effect of the AI marketing apocalypse in coaching. We're going to talk about that today.
Which takes us to the other side of it. How can you leverage AI for yourself? And this is where the rabbit hole piece comes in. I mean, I've run into coaches that are constantly using AI, but they're no more closer than they were a year ago or 2 years ago when I talked to them. They've used 10 different AI models to do all kinds of things, from content to building their funnel to, here that I'm building my business plan, or I'm creating outreach messages, all kinds of stuff. I mean, sometimes even the right things. But when I ask them, do you have the right client? Do you have enough clients? How many clients do you have? And when you actually talk to coaches who are building businesses anywhere from 5-figure, 6-figure, 7-figure, you actually get a very different data set than what marketers are promoting. They tell you a very different story of what built their business than what marketers are promoting for you.
Hey, it's Daniel, and you are about to watch a clip from our free podcast, The Coach's Journey, where we help you navigate the surprisingly difficult path of building a coaching business by people who are actually doing it. And we go live, raw, and unedited every week in our free Facebook community. Coaches Nation, welcome to another edition of the Coach's Journey podcast with Faisal Ensaun and myself, Daniel Fernandes. Today's topic is the effect of the AI marketing apocalypse in coaching. We're going to talk about that today. And there's a lot, like that's a huge loaded word, right? Okay, so like AI marketing apocalypse, what does that mean? It can mean a lot of things. And we're going to break down some of what that means today. And it's coming, and it's already here, and it's already been happening, depending which lens you take on it and what aspect of it we're talking about. So let's get into it, Faisal. AI marketing apocalypse. What does that mean to you?
Well, as far as I know, you've coined this term for me.
I did coin it. So like I should maybe
so
talk about what it
you
means
define it first.
Well, there's a few different lenses here, right? One is that the AI marketing apocalypse is like marketing is going to become easier and easier and easier to do. So like, and there's going to be a lot more of it. As you can see, if you've ever been on LinkedIn recently, there's a ton of AI marketing going on, a ton of AI content going on. And some of it's okay, some of it's great, some of it's terrible. But a lot of it is getting automated in a way that can reach you so much faster, so much easier. Marketing is like getting easier that way, but also because the sheer amount that it's creating, it's also getting harder, right? If you think about it, like now you're bombarded by way more stuff. So like there's like pros and cons of this, this tsunami of AI marketing coming your way. And the other side of it is that like the copywriting in AI marketing is getting really good, right? Because you can like figure out things that you never could figure out before about what your people might want to hear, or what the words are that make them turn and click. So there's truth to that. When it comes to coaching, like I think coaches are particularly vulnerable to the marketing aspect of their business too. Like when people market to like this, so that's one part of it. Like the content of the AI marketing and the amount and the like powerfulness, the power of the content. That's one whole dimension. The other dimension is that I think coaches specifically are going to see a lot of offers in the coaching world about, and we're starting to see this already, where people are offering all kinds of marketing programs for your coaching business. Excuse me. And marketing is both a powerful word and a dirty word in the coaching business, because like it can mean so many different things to so many different people. It's like a very broad term, and coaches will get marketed to programs that they have no business or like reason to actually invest in. And I know that because I've done it, even when the AI marketing apocalypse was not here. And so like it's going to be a lot harder to get clarity on like whether you should invest in a particular marketing program or tool set, because at the end of the day, marketing is going to be like, it's going to be everywhere, all over the place, all the time, especially to coaches, I think, because coaching is actually an increasing industry. It's a great place for marketers to sink their teeth into, and those marketers aren't usually also coaches. So that's the AI marketing apocalypse, two sides of it, three sides of it, I guess.
So the inverse, the reverse of that is that also gives coaches the opportunity to market to others as well.
Yes.
Because
Yes,
the
that's
same
true.
tools that those marketers have, you probably have it too. And they might be at a disadvantage, to be honest,
True.
because the imagine a marketing agency with multiple people in it. They'll have to cut down people and they have higher costs and lots of things. But you as a coach now might have access to like experts at your fingertips. Now, how you use it is a whole other story, but you also have access to it. So on the one side, you might fall prey to all kinds of marketing messages from a marketing agency or somebody who's running an individual running that thing. On the other side, you can also leverage the tools within it. Now, the question is, are you well versed enough in the business of coaching to have any kind of ammunition or defense from all these messages that are very targeted to you? And on the other side, do you understand the business model enough to you leverage AI for your own good?
Yeah, and both can be true. Like you can be leveraging it for your own good and still fall into schemes that are not appropriate for a business at your level, right? And so like I think there's two sides of the coin. One is how can you take advantage of AI as a coach? And there's lots of ways to do that. And there's also ways to fall into rabbit holes there too, for sure. But also how can you use your business knowledge and your understanding of what you're actually building and your own business model to really filter out a lot of the noise that's coming your way.
Right. And so yeah, so anybody can fall prey to any kind of marketing message. And when we say prey, that it is not the thing for you, but it is sold to you because the messaging is so good. The packaging is so good that you bought the product that was not the right product for you.
We've all done that even before it got this good, right? And so
Right.
like prey is like an interesting word. Like those programs are actually good for certain specific people probably, but a lot of people buy these things that are not the right audience for it. And like let's think about like if Facebook ads, right? If you're a newer coach who is getting a promo for why you have to have Facebook ads today, that might not be relevant for your business, but it might sound like it's totally the thing, the unlocker, because it's like the thing that you feel like, oh, well, that will just totally unlock all the client stuff that I'm having a hard time doing. They'll come to me,
Yeah.
right? Leads, the promise of leads, you know.
Right. And that's easier, especially if you have a coach. And spoke to a coach last week, somebody who showed up to our workshop and she got one of the bonuses. And I got on a call with her and I wanted to do a video on this too, so I'll share a little bit of it. And she is building a business, sort of a for coaches, but I could tell there were huge gaps in knowledge of how a business is built. Because one of the first things that I noticed was that she was directing all her resources towards a marketing agency, and she kept saying, the marketing will be taken care of. And that was the thing was standing out there. I'm like,
Red flag
what does
words.
she mean? What does she mean by marketing will be taken care of? She had spent a long time building her so-called academy or in courses and all this, all good. But now she's like, and she even said it. She's like, "This looks Chinese to me," assuming she doesn't know Chinese. When I look at marketing systems, I'm like, okay, so what exactly are you handing off to them? And then when I went into the details, I realized that she's been given a bunch of promises. She doesn't know how to decipher the effort or the data or any of it. Will this take her towards a positive direction as a business or not? And again, we've fallen prey to that even as within CMC too. We've hired marketing agencies. I've bought lots of programs on marketing, and the biggest the most frustrating conclusion I've come to, and this was taught by another business owner, is that if you don't understand marketing, you will hire the wrong marketers. Like that's like the most
Yeah.
counterintuitive thing that I've ever heard.
Yeah. No, it's actually not counterintuitive when you think about it. It's like also I heard this in the financial industry. Everybody's promising, we'll manage your money for you. But if you don't learn to manage your money yourself, you're going to hire the wrong people to manage your money because you won't know what your goals are and they don't care
Right.
about you as much as you care about. Like
But it
you're the one
doesn't
who
make
cares the most about your
sense.
money as well as your marketing. So if you
It
don't care about
only
your
does
marketing, start caring.
it only doesn't make sense to you once you've gone through that process, and unless you've gone through that. But if you haven't gone through it makes perfect sense. Well, I don't know it. Let me hand it off to the expert who does know it. Like,
Delegation. Oh, wait a minute.
wait, that doesn't work. Okay,
Yeah.
so the messages are getting better, and you don't have enough of a defense in your language and your experience and the way you run your business to understand it. So what's your protection against that? And at least the protection that we have that I've actually applied and Daniel has applied and we continue to do that is be around, and I look at it as direct market feedback. How are other coaches building businesses? And when you actually talk to coaches who are building businesses, anywhere from five figure, six figure, seven figure, you actually get a very different data set than what marketers are promoting. They tell you a very different story of what built their business than what marketers are promoting for you.
Yeah. I mean, marketers are building it a different way than coaches are building it, right? And even if those marketers are coaches, they don't necessarily understand the linkages between the way they're building it in their system. Like even CMC, there's elements of what we recommend coaches do in CMC, but there's elements that are not in what we recommend coaches do because CMC is a different business, right? It's a little bit of a different business. And so
Yeah.
there's definitely certain things that we do similarly and some things we do very differently. And like the agency that's selling you a marketing system, they're selling you their system. It's up to you to decide whether this is appropriate and right for you, and then you have to know your goals. Which it means you have to
Yeah.
also understand your business model as a coach. And most business models don't need to hand off their marketing in that outsourced way, in a way that we've seen so many coaches do.
Yeah. And one of the ways to do that, like in the business world, there's this idea of an incubator. Like you, when startups start their businesses, like they have a lot of potential, they might get connected through, I don't know, VC or something where, hey, t work with these experienced business owners so they can fill in the gaps of you not understanding how business works, even though you have a potential for a great product that you can build. Coaches are kind of in that boat. You're literally creating something from scratch, but you have virtually no business knowledge. So you keep jumping into this business model, this marketing system, that sales system. The none of all of them look equally great to you, and all of them eventually become overwhelming. So then what would give you the data for you to understand what works and what doesn't? And that's what makes one of the things that makes our community very different is that pretty much every week we hear the same thing, and it's in a sense it's self-confirming as well. And I asked that in the beginning, the first 10 minutes of pretty much every call, especially our Monday calls, like, okay, share a win, and usually it's like, oh, I got a client, I got connected to today. We had somebody who got a potential client. Where did you get it? Oh, I spoke at an event. The other person. I got a client and I'm talking to another potential client. How did you do it? I reached out to a bunch of people in my network. Third one, how did you? Well, I led this retreat or I was a speaker in this retreat and I'm talking. So they're giving you constant data as to what's bringing in clients versus what the marketers will be saying is, well, you haven't worked on your website, you haven't built your funnel, you haven't built all that. So all by the way, they might not even be lying to you. It might just be that they know that you don't understand at what time, at what when in your business, what kind of effort you need to do. So I'll give you the thing that's 10 years in the future and it looks very amazing and it has lots of bells and whistles and will make sense to you logically, but it might not be the right timing. But
It
that
might be
timing is
too soon.
everything.
Might be
It
too
might be
soon.
too soon.
Yeah, and actually, that's the huge problem I think that I faced in business, which is, and many others do faces, which is trying to build the perfect system with the future in mind. When right now the system you need is the one that gets you through the constraint that you have, right? And
Yeah.
oftentimes for coaches, it's there's an emotional constraint and a lack of support and a lack of direction in terms of like where do you need to focus and what's really going on here, right? Because one of the reasons we outsource our marketing is because we're not equipped to do the marketing in the way that would really benefit us, right? That would benefit the business and benefit our clients. And so we're afraid to put ourselves out there. If somebody else does that, it's easier. It's like, okay, I'm going to outsource this market, but then you have a machine that you don't understand. And you don't
Yeah.
and it's also not clear how relevant it is for you as you evolve as a coach. And so and they bring in the leads, but you still have to show up on the call with them, right? And you still have maybe they do bring in some leads, but those leads are typically not the same quality than if you had built those leads in a more natural relational way. Because coaching is a relational business. And I'm not saying that these shortcuts and these techniques to scale are not powerful and are not appropriate for coaches at various levels, but it's really hard to scale something if you're not doing the thing to start with, you know?
Yeah, you can't scale something that doesn't work. Like
Yeah.
you don't have a proof of concept yet, and this is why most of the marketing systems don't work. Not because the funnels that they're giving you they don't work. It's because you haven't proven, you haven't taken 10, 20, 30 customers through your products or service, and they've gotten results, they have testimonials, and you cannot translate that to grow and scale. And a lot of these models are built for growing and scaling a business. They're not built from zero to whatever the number is. And you won't understand that unless you're part of a community that does this stuff on a regular basis. It won't even be a red flag for you. But and here's the thing that we're saying is like who are and the question for any coach listening to this, if you're in the first 3 years of your business, 3 to 5 years of business, who are the people you're hanging around with consistently? Who are the business owners? Who are the coaches? Are these coaches part of certifications who have, if you ask them how many clients you have, they don't have more than one or two clients and they don't have consistent clients, if that question ever comes up. And are you actually hanging around other business owners who are consistently getting clients? Are you in a mastermind, in a community where you actually see the process of people building and growing a business? If you don't see that, if you don't see the data live from the marketplace, then you might conclude all, or you'll be persuaded to conclude all kinds of things that are not true.
Yeah, like who you're surrounding yourself with. That's literally what CMC was built for, to surround our coaches with the people who are actually getting results. And results can be like learnings too. Like if you lost that client, we're gonna break that down and understand what it is together. And so you learn from others' mistakes, but also other successes, as Faisal was pointing out before. That community is so powerful and so important. So if you don't have that, hey, you're showing up here to listen to this podcast. That tells you something about who you're surrounding yourself by. And both Faisal and I have active, successful coaching businesses that we are actively signing clients up and taking them to transformations. Right? We're doing all the things we're talking about. We're not CMC isn't just a business that recruits coaches. We're actually doing the coaching on our own in our own businesses aside from CMC. CMC is like a community that we built for the coaches to help us all learn together. And honestly, our community teaches us things too. We learn things
Yeah.
from the things that are coming up in the real time market data that we're hearing, right?
Yeah. Which takes us to the other side of it. How can you leverage AI for yourself? And this is where the rabbit hole piece comes in. I mean, I've run into coaches
Yeah.
that are constantly using AI, but they're no more closer than they were a year ago or 2 years ago when I talked to them. They've used
Yeah.
10 different AI models to do all kinds of things from content to building their funnel to here that I'm building my business plan or I'm creating outreach messages, all kinds of stuff. I mean, all sometimes even the right things. But when I ask them, do you have the right client? Do you have enough clients? How many clients do you have? And most of them will pause and feel embarrassed that no, I don't have either any clients or barely any clients. So that should tell you something that, I mean, yes, AI is a powerful tool. Can you use it to build a business, accelerate a business? Yes, but it also requires somebody to prompt it. And what are you prompting it to do? And where is that prompt coming from? And when it's spitting out stuff, who is looking at that? Is that, and again, that's part of the reason why one of the sessions we actually switched to AI, to not to look at every AI model, but let's go through what is tested, what can we test that actually works for coaches, and what are the 1 to 3 models you can use to move your business forward. You don't need hundreds of them, but what are a few of them needed to move your business forward, and how can you learn to prompt better? How can you learn to analyze better? How can you learn to not get distracted by different AI models?
Yeah, I think the key question that coaches should ask yourselves with AI is what is the most important piece that I need today, right now in my business? How am I using AI to move that forward before I use AI to move all the other stuff forward? Like all the nice to haves. Like maybe you're spending a lot of time developing your website with AI, or your materials for like your ebook or all that stuff. Yes, those are valuable things to do. Absolutely, AI is a great tool for those things, and I do recommend using that. But if that's keeping you away And the part of the puzzle where you're having the conversations, where you're looking at what is it going to take to meet this client where they're at, to understand what's going on, that's a place where you can use AI to actually move the business objectives towards today, right? Like so don't get lost in all these rabbit holes if you're not actually doing the work of the conversations and moving clients forward into your process through your process so they can choose to work with you. Because it's honestly way easier to have fun and play with AI. It's way easier than actually putting yourself out there and then taking people through the conversation and leading them. It's a lot easier because you don't have to like
Yeah.
face anyone.
And you can spend hours and hours and
Oh
hours
yeah,
upon
it's so addictive.
hours,
It's so addictive.
and there's no end to it. It feels like you're having a conversation. And I was sharing this with Danielle this
You
morning,
are.
and I was doing a lot of that the past few months just to see what's happening. And I found actually, I a lot of times I found my thinking getting degraded. There are times where I've felt like, okay, I'm learning something, but there are times I feel like I'm starting to think more like AI rather than like a human being. I'm like, okay, that's
Like
interesting.
its
So if I,
structures are taking over your lens, you mean?
yeah, so and for example, if I stopped using it for a week, I actually liked the way my trainings came out afterwards when I stopped using it as a way. And then, of course, I did use it to create the content afterwards for the training. But it was actually, I sat down there with these little sheets. I went back to what I was doing last year with these little sheets, wrote down the topic, wrote down the arc, and kind of went through it. I didn't even consult AI. And I thought that was much better way of approaching it. And even the content came out better on the other end because it had less of the AI thinking, it had more of my thinking in it.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. And AI is not never going to be identical to your thinking, right? It's actually potentially going to detract from what some of the value that you bring as a coach if you allow it to. So that's a powerful point.
So then the question is again, now look at it from the AI model side. Now every marketing you see, and even we're using it, they're talking about, uh, oh well, are you using AI fast enough for you to grow your business? Now, this is where you see it. First, it was funnels, and later it became AI systems. Now agents, and I've seen like not just coaches, but even other business owners. They're spending hours and hours learning about AI, but very generally. It has nothing to do with what they're doing. Is like they need their urgency is if I don't learn this, something is gonna crash. But you're trying to learn everything, you're not
But
gonna
it's
learn
not linked to
anything.
the things that are most important first. It's just like, and
Yeah.
there's a value to having broad education to like upskilling your understanding of things. So there's a value to that. But when you can apply that learning to a very specific area that is a constraint or that is important, then the learning is way more powerful and it actually makes a difference to you. So like I often think about like if I'm going to use the AI tool I'm using, it's like how important is this thing that I'm talking about, and how long do I need to spend on this to give it the right the maybe the answer is like not very long, to get the right
And you might
output.
not even know. You might not even know. Everybody's supposedly an AI expert. Who knows what will be used
Nobody's an
when?
expert on things that are going to change in 3 weeks from now.
Right? So it's coming out so fast that who knows what is going to be like what is going to be test of time. I mean, look at the narrative behind it. Is that it's so urgent. If you don't learn it, you're going to fall behind. But what exactly are you learning? It's like
You have to learn it. You have to learn it.
right. So anything that's AI, you have to learn it. Like, there's no way anybody has all the time, energy in the world to do this. But that changes, and this is why I want to bring it back to like when you're part of, and this is why the power of masterminds are different. When you're part of a community, when you're part of a mastermind where there are people who are actively building their business and they're assuming that they're up to date on technology to the degree that it applies to their business right now, and they're working on it and they're testing different things, you will see active data on, okay, what's usable now versus later. You might be focused on understanding agents when there are a bunch of people using simple AI models to get clients right now, but agents are a little bit far out and you're spending all your time trying to figure that out. But that's not applicable right now. Maybe it's again, so the point is, are you getting active data from business owners who are using it that's applicable right now? If you're not getting that, you can easily rabbit hole into any model for hours on, and like I remember when I started my business, I spent a week on trying to figure out how funnels work. I uploaded a bunch of stuff. Not necessary. I should have spent that whole week trying to find out who can I reach out to, who can I help. Now you could spend a month, 6 months trying to figure out something and rabbit hole into
And
it.
I spent weeks on trying to come up with a website, right? And like it was actually a convenient excuse to not do the hardest stuff, which is the emotionally challenging work of reaching out and making yourself visible and having the conversations and leading people through a sales process. I didn't even know those terms back in the day. Like
Yeah.
it's just definitely so much easier not to do the things that you need to do.
Yeah. And those are the universal things in business that at least as far as we know it, it has not been taken over by any kind of model, which is especially in a business that's relational in nature, you haven't replaced yourself with the double AI yet.
Like a twin or clone. And even if you did, they would know.
They would find out because that model is not there yet. But and even then, even if you did, you would want to know how those conversations go because you will be using that in your package
Yeah.
and the coaching that you offer. If you're not good at that, they will find out pretty fast
When they meet the real you, yeah.
when they meet your so like there are very few ways to avoid that, and that's the thing that's the hardest. How do I get in front of people? How do I get in front of people, whether that's one-on-one in a group setting, in person, online, and how do I do that consistently enough where I can attract the right people to move forward in a conversation, in a sales process where I can offer something that's valuable, where they're willing to exchange their hard-earned money for something that's valuable for them. That process is probably the hardest thing, and I would say coaching is one of the hardest things to sell. Like there are a
I would
lot
agree with
easier
that.
things to sell than coaching because it's not as tangible as you think it is for most people.
And you might not even think it's tangible, but like, coaching is very hard to sell for two reasons. One is clients don't quite understand if they haven't ever had coaching before all the aspects of value here. And but also coaches, on the other hand, coaches get all stuck up about selling coaching because they're like, oh, like their own stuff gets in the way, and they're like, oh, am I a valuable person? Like, yes, you're valuable. Everybody is a valuable human, but it's not about you. It's about the process that you're taking someone through. It's about the commitment that you're making to somebody and the value that your sales process and your coaching program bring together. It doesn't say anything about you as a human, but we all, tend to go through the journey as coaches to take it personally for a long time before we understand and we have enough experience to be more confident about what we can provide. Nobody like I think coaches, we don't want to sell stuff that to somebody that's not going to do the job. Like nobody wants to be that person. And so part of it is getting the experience, but also part of it is like getting out of your own way. Like like if you even if you have the experience, you can still get in your own way by like climbing up about the quote the sale, like the mutually beneficial working together is what I would call it, you know.
Yeah.
So it definitely gets easier, but the only way to make it easier is to get out there and do it.
Yeah,
For you
and
emotionally, you have to get through that process.
for you to do it consistently and not give up after 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, and I've seen coaches quit after 5 years of doing this, even longer
Longer.
at times. And that requires you to be part of something that constantly pushes you through your discomfort. We had a coach today, actually a few days ago, she shared a picture of speaking in an in-person podcast, and she was struggling like to be. Well, she joined the right community and she spoke to the right coach, and she was struggling to even accept speaking engagements, let alone she had such an internal resistance that she was not, and she had been trying for 20 plus years. She literally said that on our group call. 20
20
plus
years.
years. And she had tried different things. It's not like she hadn't. And she just needed the right community and the right push for her to get started.
And now she
Um,
has that because she joined CMC. I see that you're saying, right?
right. Yes. So, and again, she has been a coach. She has created a certain amount of success, but she's struggling because it's a different economy and she has to put herself out there a little bit differently than before. But as soon as she joined the community, her approach is different. So my question to anybody listening to this, ultimately it comes down to who are you surrounded by. If you're surrounded by even if you are surrounded by coaches, for many coaches that's not even the case. They're sitting behind their computer, they're not even around coaches. But let's say you're even with coaches, what are those coaches doing? If they're jumping from one certification to the next, they're practicing coaching. Oh, I'm in the beginning stages of building, I'm working on my business plan, my website. If you're always around those coaches, your results will be very similar to them. And coaches should know this. You're an average of those people that, let's say, five
Surround
or
yourself
10,
with.
whatever, surround yourself. Are you around coaches who are actively building their business? You probably see a bunch of coaches who are ahead of you, but they're not even in your circle because they're probably in a different circle. So who are the people who are actively building their businesses, who are running active coaches, who are going to actually help you decipher in this crazy world of AI marketing, sales, all that stuff? How are you going to protect yourself? Well, you need actual data from the marketplace. The only way you're going to get it is if you're around other coaches who are building businesses and you're actively building that business too. So if you're open to that process, either join a community that does it or join our community that will help you. You can join our free community at cmc.coach. And I got the link right. Daniel's smiling there.
Yep.
And please share this with any coaches because I can almost guarantee that in the next 6 months, 1 year, there are going to be lots of coaches who are going to buy a bunch of programs on AI or marketing or all kinds of stuff that will not likely serve them, or they're going to rabbit hole into some kind of AI model for the next 6 months, and that business model is not tested. They're going to put it to test, and they don't even understand the heads and tails of it, and they'll keep rabbit holing.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you'd like to ask us a question, shoot us a note. cmc.coach/contact. You can send us a note. Or you can join our Facebook group and message us directly. We try to respond to everybody that does message us. So please go for it. Send us a message, post something in our group, or send us a direct message, and I'll go to our email and we'll get that. And we would love to support you in your journey as a coach. If you liked anything you've heard, like Faisal said, share it, make a comment below, and we look forward to seeing you on the other side.
Awesome. We'll talk soon. Take care.